And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus on this finally Friday, July 11th. Canada unfortunately left the doors open for their wildfire smoke. Thanks, Canada. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki along with our Ag Director Bridgette Readel. And where are you at today, Bridgette? Because I know up here it is from Fargo northward. It is very smoky. In fact, we've had reports of visibility down to a half mile or less around the Grand Forks area.
I can attest to that. Having been further south today, I'm currently near Leonard, North Dakota. There definitely was more smoke as I was further north around Hunter, etc. So it truly is the case right now. You can see it very hazy. I can see where visibility was limited in a number of areas. But also, I really feel for the folks that are experiencing the reason why we get the smoke. We've been seeing the destruction of farms, fields, pastures, forest land, and even complete towns. So there's a lot happening up there. I know it affects us negatively, but it's been affecting them much more negatively as well.
Right. Yeah, no doubt about it. And we've got some strong storms on radar right now. In fact, taking a look at our latest radar in Lakes Country, stretching from east of Frazee down through Fergus, a line of strong thunderstorms pushing through. In fact, earlier did a little tree damage around the Fergus area. Other than that, some steadier, well, I'll call it lighter rain from around just north of Leonard through Castleton and up through Hunter. That's moving northeastward. Not a whole lot. Fargo is going to kind of fall right in between the heavier rain to the east in Lakes Country and the more steadier rain out to the west. But all of this should be east of the area as we head into mid to late afternoon. We might even see a few peaks of sun before the sun goes down tonight. Other than that, though, we're looking at a decent weekend in terms of temperatures. Humidity levels are going to drop as well, but we're still going to be dealing, unfortunately, with the smoke as we head into Saturday. After these showers pull through, we'll turn partly cloudy overnight tonight with lows in the upper 50s, then around 79 to 80 tomorrow. But again, we're going to be dealing with the Canadian smoke. So if you have upper respiratory problems, you might want to limit your time outdoors, unfortunately, on Saturday. And then Sunday, most of that smoke pulls out of the area. Not all of it, but most of it, with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s on Sunday. Heat and humidity return on Monday with highs in the low 90s. And then good chance for storms as we head into Monday night, and then on and off showers as a front stalls over the area for Tuesday and Wednesday, with temps cooling back off into the 70s. We'll be able to give the air conditioner a rest by the middle of next week, at least for a few days, before we warm things up by next weekend. So all in all, not a bad-looking forecast. We could use a little bit more rain, although, again, areas in Lakes Country getting hit pretty good right now, but the rest of us really not seeing a whole lot of precip. We're about a half inch down on the season, which isn't bad. That's close enough to normal where we're not worrying about drought conditions, but we don't want to let this go on too long, and I think we'll catch up a lot of that next week as that front kind of stalls overhead.
Well, I think folks will see quite a few changes in the cropping system as well. You know, we watched corn really shoot up, but as we approach wheat harvest, it's nice to have a little bit of heat at the right time to stress it, to improve our protein. We're just hoping, though, that as we see some of these spotty showers, rainfall, when it is time to harvest, we'd prefer that not be interfering with harvest. So keep that in mind. I'll be submitting my requests on a weekly basis for where I need rain and when, Dean. If you can do that, that'd be great.
Yeah, no problem. I'll do the best I can. But at least we're getting into a more summer-looking pattern as we head into next week. We really haven't had we've been lucky. We haven't had that long stretch of 90-degree days that we can often have, and we've been pretty lucky. We get a couple days of it, and we get clipped by that Canadian air mass. And somebody asked me today, are we going to be dealing with this smoke now for the rest of the summer? Is this something that's going to continue? I said, well, once we get the cool air masses to slide in, as we transition from the hot, humid air to the cooler weather, when our upper level winds come out of the northwest or from Canada with bringing in the cooler weather, that's when we'll see these dumps of smoke come in. So you almost want the hot and humid weather so we can keep the smoke out of our area.
I actually had someone tell me last night, Well, it's been so hot this summer, and I'm thinking, do we live in the same place?
Yeah.
Because realistically, it hasn't been our warmest summer yet by any
Oh,
means.
no. No, I think we were talking about this on Bonnie's show just yesterday. I think we've had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 days of 90 plus, and the majority of those came in May. So we haven't had any.
Yes.
I think it was a 3 or 4 day stretch in May. So we haven't had a real long stretch of hot weather. Now, on average, our temperatures have been a degree or so above normal for the summer, but in terms of like extreme heat or anything, or a lot of 90-degree days, we just haven't had them. I think we've just been so spoiled the last couple of summers where we haven't, or at least last summer, we really weren't that hot at all. So it feels hotter this summer.
Well, maybe that's the case, but I don't think we're out of sync than where we normally would be. And
No.
again, I'm still a kid who remembers the late 80s when it was a lot hotter, more drought. I mean, if you have a conversation with state climatologist Darrell Richardson, he's going to talk about the history of what our weather's been like. And we are not really in any extremes, nor by any means is this our hottest, etc. I always appreciate his perspective because he looks at longer than just a 20-year average. He takes it back much further.
Right, exactly.
Let's not forget, though, that Project SafeSend is going on for the North Dakota Department of Ag, and we appreciate the fact that this is a free service to you as citizens of the state. If you have unwanted or unused pests, maybe you've got something in the garage that you need to get rid of, you're cleaning out grandma's house and come across some old gopher, I shouldn't say this, the Tordon pellets were used as gopher bait once upon a time, etc. No, that was all wrong. Let's get rid of those things, and we can take those to the Project SafeSend sites. Today's site was in Rugby. Next week will be Minot, Tioga, Kildare, Dickinson, and Beulah. Those sites are open each morning from 8 a.m. to noon at the respective DOT locations within those communities. And again, unwanted pesticides, not gasoline, used oil, paints, or any of those types of things. And yesterday, Emma Gullix did a fabulous job.
Boy, did she, and she really did.
She's a good kid. Great kid. And she helped us out by talking with Angie Johnson, North Dakota State University Safety and Extension Specialist for Farm and Ranch. And they talked about the RF training, which is for rural firefighters delivering ag safety and health. This is an event next Saturday, July 19th. It'll be held in Amenia. It'll be held at the John Hale Farm. There's breakfast and lunch. It is only limited to only 25 participants, but this is a training for our local fire departments to take. If you have someone who can be there, they're going to introduce you to agricultural emergencies, how to prepare and map with farms, hazardous farm analysis, and even farm first aid. So even if you have a member of your rural department that can attend, this would be outstanding. You can always drop me an email, ag@flagfamily.com, and I will get you the registration link for that site. I hope you're following along today. You can watch us on Facebook, YouTube, and Acres TV, as long as the computers don't crash again. Right, Addison? Good, okay?
You know, this is all
loud.
I told Addison, I don't know how many times, don't eat McDonald's while you're running the board. So all the greasy fingers and everything the last 2 days caused the board to crash.
It's not my fault the Sprite fell on the board.
Oh, it was the Sprite.
I'm not the one who put the lid on the cup. The McDonald's worker should have made sure that was secure. I'm just saying.
Gotcha. Well, before we go to break, and our we've got Ward Cater coming in from Vision Forward. We do have some strong. Now, nothing reported severe, but looking at radar from Park Rapids through New York Mills, Otter Tail, down towards Battle Lake, we've got the potential of hail with quite a few of these storms. In fact, on radar right now, right around the New York Mills area, we're getting some signs of 1/2 to 3/4 inch hail, maybe some rotation within that cell just north of New York Mills. Again, no warnings issued as of yet, but in Lakes Country over the next hour or so, we could have some severe storms that will quickly erupt. So want to keep everybody heads up on that if you are in Lakes Country here over the next hour or so. So
if you have weather reports too,
Yeah.
Dean. Folks can call us on the JLA Insurance phone line, 701-293-9000. Please be sure to call in and let us know what you see happening there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great. When we return after the livestock market update, we'll be joined by Ward Cater with Vision Forward. And then later on, we're going to talk to Lyman Halvorson with the Hawk Museum up by Rugby Wolford in that neighborhood. So many things yet to come. Stay tuned.
Ready for the weekend? Well, I guess. How about you? Let's put you right over on this one here. Yeah, we were having trouble with this mic the other day, so. Okay. We'll put you right here. Okay. You ready for the weekend? I think so. How about yourself?
So glad you're joining us this afternoon here on Weather and Ag in Focus with WDAY. And want to make sure that you don't forget that the fence check assessment is up and ready. That is on the Tech Support Farm website. So go to techsupport.farm. Chris Sherman's got that all up and running so you can decide, am I protected in all the right ways, or what should I be doing differently for my farm cybersecurity? It's more important than you might realize. Today, a guest in studio with us is Ward Cater with Vision Forward out of Wahpeton. All right, Ward. First and foremost, what's the big promotion these days? Because we just finished the employee pricing promotion, didn't we?
Yeah, that was fantastic. Truly one of the best promotions Ford has offered in a very, very long time. So it was fun. It was successful, and more importantly, it was very easy for the consumer and customer. So right now we're kind of rolling into a lot of leasing is available again, which kind of went away with COVID. And now we're back, and we have a lot of $399, $499 leases, no money down, which is kind of unheard of. So we have 9 vehicles that fall into either of those categories. So it's a great value right now. Again, very easy, not a big drain on your pocketbook to get into pretty much anything you want. So it's been fun. We have great demand and probably our best inventory we've had also since COVID hit us. So we're winning on all levels.
You said that leasing kind of went away after COVID.
It
Why?
did.
Is there a good reason for that?
There really is. Leasing is brought out to get consumers' attention, get them involved. In my personal opinion, it's the best way to buy a vehicle. But when COVID hit, inventories dried up because there were a lot of issues in production. They just went away and purely made the vehicles available. So there wasn't a big push from the manufacturer. It was a simple supply and demand.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
And as we relate that kind of to farmers, do you see that as an option for farmers, or do we tend to use our vehicles, if you will, more than the lease might want us to?
Yeah, that's a really good question because a lot of times leasing is misunderstood. You can truly we can do up to 99,000 mile lease, which means you can do roughly 33,000 or 30,000 as a round number a year, which is not what everybody's normally used to. Ford does an amazing job with that. So we can do high mileage. Any normal wear and tear is normal. If you're going to destroy the box or take a door off or something like that, that's an issue, whether you lease it or own it. But it's a very friendly environment. So you can drive a lot of miles. You can drive very little. Whatever works for you, we can customize that. And it's a depreciating asset. I'm always honest with our customers. A vehicle is just a necessity. And it's really not the best investment in the world. I'm the first to admit it. So leasing, it gives you a lot of protection. It gives you market protection. We never think we're going to hit a deer, but we hit deer in this part of the world. And it gives you protection as far as the value of the vehicle. So if you get a title that's salvage title, which really reduces the value of the vehicle by at least 30-35%, that's not your problem. So there's a lot of protection to the consumer and the farmers of the world that are out roaming around the gravel roads and a lot of nature out there.
And Ward, Ford and farmers, that's gone hand in hand for many, many years. Why is that, do you think?
It's kind of really an interesting story. When you go back to 1908 was kind of the beginning of the Model T.
That was a great year. That was the first Cubs World Series win was in 1908. So we'll all remember that year.
Well, I'm sure Henry Ford was on top of that one.
I'm sure he was.
It's interesting because there were actually 8 models before the Model T. So there was a big run of trying to figure things out, but the Model T was the beginning. It allowed the farmer to use a mechanical vehicle to haul seed, to move things around, and it was able to function year-round. So it was really a big deal. And it was available for a long time. The F-Series, which we all know today, came out in 1948 and has had an amazing run. We sell almost 1 million of those vehicles a year, which is just amazing. There's some manufacturers out there that don't produce that across all of their models. So the F-Series is truly amazing and really offers a lot to not only the farmer himself, but the people that supply and support the farmer. So it's just been an incredible product.
And Ward, I've got a couple questions. One, with the tariffs that we have on Canada now, is that going to affect prices at all that you can see down the road here within the next year?
From what we see and what we know, we aren't seeing anything yet. A lot can change, but we've got a very friendly relationship with Ford and with Canada. So it's really been not a non-issue to this point, meaning the auto industry has not been as hit as hard as a lot of the other industries. But it's, every day is a new day, but right now it's really been a successful relationship.
And what about your used pickup inventory? How's that looking right now?
Used is great because we've sold so many new vehicles. When we sell new, we get a lot of trades. So there's great inventory available. I pride myself in having the nicest used vehicles out there at Vision Ford. So it's fun. We really have fun with what we're doing, and it's been a really unique year, I'll say. It's a lot of things changing to the good,
Okay.
both at Vision Ford and the industry.
And that's a big switch because I remember looking to buy a vehicle, a new pickup, well, or even a good used pickup, probably in about 2022. And that market was tight. There were
Yes.
not a lot of vehicles, but it sounds like things have freed up a little bit.
They freed up, better variety, better availability in general. So yeah, it's a great time for anybody and everybody to get out there and peek around. And we try and spend a lot of time and effort on our website of drivewithvision.com to make it easier. And everybody's on their phones and they're kind of thumbing everything to death. So if you want to take a peek, go to drivewithvision.com. It's always up to date and plenty of photos to make it fun and easy.
The last time you were with us, I heard you mention briefly, and I don't feel like we talked about it enough, that you have a pickup and drop-off service. So whether is it for servicing a vehicle, or if there's something I see on your website and I want to look at, you'll actually come to me?
Yeah, so we do that for the sales process. So if you want to look at a vehicle, we'll actually bring it to your home, your office, the lake cabin, and just instead of coming to us, we want to bring everything to you. So if you want to just look at it, 5 minutes worth of look, we'll drive an hour to show it to you for 5 minutes.
Wow.
If it's the wrong color or the wrong option, we'll turn around and we'll get another crew coming out with the next vehicle that you request. And we follow up with that by the same with service. So we do free pickup and delivery for maintenance or repairs. You just pay for whatever you want done. But again, if you're here in Fargo, we'll come to you for free, pick it up, bring it back. We also have mobile service. So if it's a lot of recalls, unfortunately, out there in the industry, and they're not going to slow down anytime soon. So we have a vehicle set up that can do probably at least 90% of those recalls for you right in the parking lot here at WDAY, or we can go anywhere to your home or office and do those, again, for simplicity and ease. And then if it's a bigger repair, we'll pick it up and bring it there, do it, and deliver it back to you clean and ready to go.
I will forever tell it my two favorite things about having been driving Ford pickups in the past. Movable pedals. You were the first ones to have it with the F-150s when we went to the Super Cruise. And largest gas tank. I had a 36-gallon tank in my last Ford, and it was, see, that's why the balloons are popping up.
I know it. It's true. I tell you what, one of the biggest features people talk about is that gas tank. They love the range and they love the simplicity of it. You pay a little extra because you're getting a bigger fill, but
it's worth it.
It saves you a lot of time through the week and the month.
The test which is bigger, your bladder or your gas tank. Somewhere in there, you're gonna have to stop.
You're always topping off one of them, right?
Yeah, right. Especially on the weekend.
You said your website and so forth, Ward, but please say it again and your phone number so folks can reach out to you in Wahpeton.
Absolutely. I always give the website because it's something we can remember. It's drivewithvision.com. Everything is on their inventory, a quick 2-minute process to apply for a loan. Any job opportunities we have, everything is there, drivewithvision.com, and we'd love to hear from you or see you.
Good deal.
Looking forward to it myself.
Yeah, thanks so much, Ward. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Get out and have a great weekend. Enjoy it. Hopefully we get this smoke out of here by Sunday, so
there we go.
Things improve a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we've got another guest coming up, don't we, Bridgette, after the break?
We do. We're going to talk with Lyman Halvorson. He is with the Hawk Museum, Antique Cars and Tractors. I bet there's a few Fords on display there, and we're going to learn more after our bottom of the hour news. Well, our wheat is growing great today. It's probably going to get a drink of water pretty quick due to these rain showers. And that wheat is brought to us by Peterson Farm Seed. This is the Rolls variety. And next week I'll be in the field. We'll be looking at it as we approach harvest, getting a good assessment of what we think our yield might be. And if you have not yet given us your bushels guess, you can send those to me, ag@flagfamily.com. You can also find us on our Facebook page, WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. I'll take your bushel guesses there. For those going to the state fair, I'm willing to reward you with some tickets for the fair concerts. I still have a pair of tickets left for, hold on, there's a couple of them actually. I've got tickets left for Bailey Zimmerman and Ian Munsick. So if you're going to the state fair, give me your guess for our bushels, and I can line you up with concert tickets while you're out there. For questions or weather reports that you want to share today, you can reach us on the JLA Insurance phone line, 701-293-9000. So our guest next is a museum here in the state of North Dakota I haven't yet been to, and I feel like I'm falling down on my citizen responsibility by not having been to the Dale and Martha Hawk Museum near Wolford. And we're joined by Lyman Halvorson of the museum. Lyman, what's the history? How did this museum begin?
Well, there was a guy by the name of Dale Hawk. Him and his brother Thor, they're the ones that started it back in way back in 1900s, I guess. And they started restoring old equipment, machinery, and that's how it got started, I guess.
So, they were just doing this for their own private collection to begin with?
Yeah, that's what they started out with, just a private collection, and then over the years, they grew more and more, and that's when they started the museum then.
So, how many years has the museum been open?
Well, oh gosh, it's been in 1990 they started the farm show days, and it was open many, many years before that.
Oh, wow. I had no idea this museum had been around so long. And tell us where you're located, because you're not exactly in town, if I remember right.
No, it's out in the country. It's 21 miles west of Candu, North Dakota, on Highway 17, and then 4 miles north. And it's about 28 miles from Rugby, North Dakota, on Highway 2, northeast of Rugby.
So it's not Canada, but you can see it from there, I bet.
No. Well, Canada isn't too far, no. But, yeah, it's a nice location.
Are there several buildings for folks to go through?
Oh, yes. There's like 11 or 12 buildings, all got antiques in it, tractors and thrashing machines and older cars, lots of old antique equipment, too.
So the implements, not just the tractors, right?
Right, yeah. And our main museum building, we call it, that has all kinds of smaller little antique items in it too. Horse-drawn
So what are those
equipment.
like?
Pardon me?
Okay. Well, so what's in that main building? What's some of the smaller antique items that you have?
Oh boy, you name it, it's in there really, I guess. Several little toy tractor collections, and oh man, lots of stuff in there,
Okay.
Yeah.
And Lyman, what's the oldest piece of equipment that you guys have in there?
Well, we have a Hackney Auto Plow, it's called. There's only one or two or three in the whole U.S., but that's a 1912 model. So, yeah.
Okay, well, wait.
really
What is an Acme Autopilot? Is it a car?
Hackney Auto Plow. No, it's a plow on 4 driven wheels, That's why they call it an auto plow. It's a two
Oh,
bottom plow. You can actually plow with it in the field, but that's why they call it a hackney, I guess, because it's kind of in a way, it's an auto too. Yeah,
mm-hmm. Yep, because it does a little bit of everything. Uh,
yeah.
Lyman, how long have you been working with the museum?
I've been up there since 2016 myself. So, but I was up there many years before that. I'd help out during their farm show days, which is in June of every year.
Okay. And when you have been going up there, has the collection continued to grow or has it pretty much stayed the same over the years?
No, every year there's certain pieces of equipment and sometimes of the automobile that we take in when people decide they don't longer want to store it or something. They'll call and want to know if we have room, and we've taken on a lot of other automobiles and equipment too over the years. So it grows every
So
year.
I, I tell me if I'm wrong, but I did a story a while back on the fact that at one point in time, Porsche built tractors before they were building cars. And the story is you have a Porsche tractor there. Is that true?
Yeah, there could. I'm not real familiar with it, I guess, but it could be. Yeah, I
Sure.
guess we do have one. Yeah,
What are some
yeah.
of the tractors or cars that stand out to you that you're really fond of in the museum?
Oh boy, there's many older steel wheel tractors, several of them, and even though pretty old tractors on tire wheels too. There's too numerous to mention all the models of them, I guess.
Well, I was curious if any of those really stand out to you, if there was something that you liked, whether it was a Farmall or maybe back to one of the older tractor names before folks got real familiar
Well,
with the tired tractors,
yeah.
rubber tired.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's a lot of there. We have quite a few John Deere older tractors. I've been always partial to them, I guess.
Ah,
John
so
Deere
Johnny Poppers?
D, yeah, John Deere old D's and G's and B's, several, all kinds of different models.
You're going to have to make room for some of the tractors now that folks want that are a little bit newer, that they consider vintage, like the 1066s and the 1486, or things like that.
Yeah, yeah. We, I guess we don't have any of them yet, but you know,
They're probably still getting used on the farm somewhere.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
So how about cars, Lyman? Is there a unique, we think about Ford, we think about the Chevrolets or the Buicks. Are there some unique different cars that you have as well in the museum?
Oh yeah, there's lots of older cars. Yeah. Um, well, there's a Lincoln Continental is one, and there's several old Buicks, I guess, and we have some Model A's, Model T's, and some of the trucks too. The old Model T truck, and there's several of them too.
So how many do you think were restored by Dale and his brother Thor? Or do you think it's probably 60% of what's in the museum?
Oh yeah, yeah, you bet. Yeah,
Okay.
they
Now,
restored a lot of.
now you mentioned a farm show that gets held every June. What happens at the show? Do you just line everything up for viewing?
Yeah, we take all the tractors out of the shed that they're stored in, and most of the automobiles we take them out, and we have a campground on the south edge of the museum. We put them all out there for display, and the farm show is always the second weekend in June, and during that show they do thrashing, plowing, we have a plot where we plow with the older tractors, and a sawmill building where they actually saw tree logs into boards. And then we have a parade each day. It's really a busy weekend.
Boy, it sounds like it. So the second weekend every June, and we know where you're
Yeah.
at. But Lyman, if folks are thinking about coming up there, how can they find you? Is there a website or a Facebook page or a phone number that they should use?
Yeah, we have a website, Dale Martha Hawk Museum website, and there's also a phone number to call all the time. We have a office manager lady. She's there every day, so it's pretty easy to find. And then there's also signs along the highway saying where it's at too.
Well, I tell you what, that's how I know about it. I see the signs along the highway when I'm headed to Minot for the state fair. So,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Lyman Halvorson, thank you for joining us today to talk about the Dale and Martha Hack Museum, antique cars, antique tractors. If you are a fan of old iron, this is a great place for you to stop. We will return to talk about some headlines, and better check on that weather, Dean. Sounded like it might be a little rough over in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will. We'll go over rainfall totals that we've seen so far as well. And we do, like Bridgette said, have some strong storms. Non-severe as of now, but very strong storms in Lakes Country. We'll touch on that coming up after the break. And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus, 1:53 in the afternoon on this finally Friday. And we've got some very strong storms in Lakes Country. In fact, flooding going on right now right around the Huntersville area where a flash flood warning is in effect there. A line of strong storms stretching from Walker all the way down to Parker's Prairie. And again, some extremely heavy rainfall within that line. So Lakes Country is getting hit pretty good with those storms. We just have light showers around the area, although a steady rain falling from DL through Frazee, that's moving northeastward. And in and around the FM area, just some light showers. In fact, rainfall totals not that impressive around the FM area, under 1/10 of an inch. In fact, just a couple hundredths of an inch. Over in Clay County, let's see, Underwood checking in at 900ths, Sabin checking in at 1400ths, but from Wahpeton through Ottertail picking up 1 1/3 inches. But areas up around Hunter, Castleton, Arthur, 1/10 of an inch or less. So not a lot of rain out of this as this is pushing through the area, but with the exception of Lakes Country, where there's some very, very heavy rain going on between Walker and Huntersville right now. So if you're out in that area, could get a little bit of flash flooding out that way. But other than that, this is all pushing eastward and should be out of the area here as we head towards evening. But we're going to be dealing with the Canadian smoke, not only tonight, but into the day tomorrow as well. It'll vary in intensity. It does appear that it's going to kind of thicken up. It was very thick earlier. It's lightened up a little bit right now, but expecting some thicker smoke to come back into the area as we head into your Saturday afternoon, mainly from the valley eastward. Now, how far in Lakes Country that gets, because I know a lot of people going out in the Lakes Country this weekend. Saturday looks to be the worst day, but Sunday being better. No precip this weekend, so we'll be dry, but we're just going to have to deal with that smoke, especially on Saturday, Bridgette.
Can be dealt with and will be. I mean, let's face it, we're not going to change it unless the wind picks up and blows her way out of here, but we'll be fine. We'll make it work. I know it's hard on folks with breathing conditions, and so y'all know the drill. Be safe, be careful, and do your treatments, your nebulizer treatments, etc., and try to stay out of it as much as you can. So that will help. Do want to make sure to give a shout out to Hire Drone Service. They're an agri-drone service out of Leonard, North Dakota. Hey, I'm in your backyard, you guys. And honestly, Matthew and Eleanor have probably been quite busy this summer, especially with some of these spotty rain showers. It's made it tough to get into the field. We've also had what seems to be pretty ripe conditions for white mold, etc. So if you're looking to book some acres with Hire Drone Service, get a hold of them. They're an agri-drone service in Leonard, North Dakota. Mark your calendars. If you want to go and see the Dale and Martha Hawk Museum up near, let's see, he's west of Candu, north of Rugby. And honestly, on the break, Addison and I were looking at their website. Now, we need to go. It looks like a great field trip. But you might stop there on your way to the State Fair in Minot. And on Friday, this will be July 22nd, North Dakota State Fair in Minot. Wait, that's not a Friday, that's a Tuesday. Just doing the math in my head. North Dakota Beef Commission, Stockmen's Association, and North Dakota Cattlewomen are hosting a free roast beef lunch for active duty military, reserve, and National Guard members and their families. It'll start at 11 o'clock in the Commercial 2 building, and it'll go until 1 o'clock or until the food runs out. So stop by, because beef certainly powers you with protein, but also zinc, iron, 10 essential nutrients, and you don't want to miss out on this opportunity. A great salute to our military by our beef producers in the state of North Dakota. Again, that'll be at the State Fair on July 22nd, starting at 11. It's a free lunch for those who are involved in the military. Glad to have you.
No doubt, no doubt.
Yes. Yep. Also on Monday, North Dakota State Extension Service is hosting a field day at the Central Grasslands Research Station near Streeter, North Dakota. The morning tour will be showing some grazing production, such as winter cereals in a corn-soybean rotation. They want to talk about soil health, livestock performance, crop production, economics. The afternoon tour will be talking about converting cropland to perennial forage crops for late season grazing. And it'll be interrupted in the middle of the day by a free brisket lunch.
Oof.
Brought to you by NDSU Carnivore Catering. Don't miss that.
Oh.
That's great. So those are field days, and again, those are at the Grasslands Research Station, NDSU's one of their farms close to Streator, North Dakota.
Good deal. Good deal. Any plans this weekend, Bridgette?
You know, considering y'all are, if you're watching on the live stream, you can probably see a cooler in my back seat. Enough said. We're gonna be fine.
Yeah. In fact, Addison, how many times has she reached back to that cooler while we've been on the air? I've counted 3 so far. I don't know if there's been any more.
Iced tea, guys. I'm just telling you. Oh, and a rhubarb dessert.
Well, there we go. Awesome. Well, for Bridgette, myself, I want to thank everybody for joining us on Weather and Ag in Focus. Have yourself a great and safe weekend. Again, if you have respiratory problems, be aware of that smoke, especially on Saturday. But don't go anywhere. The Jay Thomas Show, it's coming up next. Of rain across the area. That'll limit temperatures maybe a degree or 2 by this afternoon. But
one of only a few in the world trained and certified to predict the area's most unpredictable weather using the LRC forecasting model. When you need to know the forecast today, tomorrow, or the weeks out, turn to Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki on WDAY Radio.
Hey, golf fans, check out the Quick 18 podcast. I'm your host, Dave Schultz, along co-host Andy Carroll.
We talk weekly from PGA Tour golf to Fargo Country Club golf and our own games.
It's a lot of fun. Golf is full of content, and we're excited to bring it to you here on the Quick 18 podcast. For all past episodes, visit youtube.com/@TheHIO Show. youtube.com/@TheHIO Show. Check it out. It's the Quick 18 podcast.